it's Shannon, aka QB Crossing, and welcome to my channel. We are currently standing on my new island, Magari, and I know it's very empty right now, but I promise I have some builds to show later on in the video. But today we're going to be talking about island process, what I did to get ready for this island, some of my inspiration, my map, my villagers, all of that fun stuff that you get to think about when you restart an island. So if you enjoyed the video, please be sure to like and subscribe, leave a comment, let me know what you thought, but let's just get right into it. So I want to talk a little bit first about process, and I was feeling really overwhelmed when I started this island. So this is actually my fourth island. My first one was QB. It had a very traditional cottagecore theme. It was kind of, basic, but I loved it so much, and it was the first island that I ever finished, so I am still very proud of it. The next island that I did was really just a revamp of QB, so it was QB 2.0, and that was pretty much just focusing more on doing some really cool terraforming, upping my game there. And then the third island that I recently completed was Iriswood. If you watch me on Twitch, you may have seen me working on it live, as well as on YouTube. I do speed builds for that island. But we recently finished it, and I was left thinking, what now? And I found myself just feeling really overwhelmed and not really wanting to pick up my Switch. I didn't want the pressure of completing another island or really thinking of the flow of an island, the whole map. All of that was just not sounding very fun to me, and I didn't want to lose the real excitement that I used to have playing the game. So I want to talk about how I'm having fun again by not planning, not worrying about flow, and just doing whatever I want. It is so freeing, and pretty much this island is filled with random builds all over the place. Whenever I get an idea, whether or not it fits my theme, I'm just building it and having fun, and I will just either keep it or destroy it later depending on how I feel. But I don't have to worry about placing buildings, nothing like that. None of that pressure is on me right now. So that is my new process and how I'm having fun again with Animal Crossing. So I think that if you guys are struggling with the pressure of a completed island or your flow or anything like that, if you want to just take some time to just build randomly whenever you get inspiration, it is so much fun, and I am just loving creating whatever I want and treating every area like its own unique place, almost like its own unique piece of art. I'm not calling my work art, but it's as if I'm creating a different painting every time, and they don't all have to merge together. Maybe in the end they will, but it's just not a priority for me right now. So that is where we're at with my overall kind of mantra for this island, is that not worrying about the big picture. I am just worrying about how I feel today, what I feel like making, and that's that. So let's talk about my map next. So the map that I chose had actually 2 south-facing river mouths, which I know a lot of people don't like, but I thought, let's try something different. Let's give ourselves a little bit of a challenge. I don't know what I was thinking, but I don't hate it, and the resident services is in a kind of cool location that I haven't seen before. So I just wanted my island to feel different than what I've done in the past. So that's how we ended up on this island. Please do not perceive this ugly island map, because as I said, I am just building randomly, so of course the map does not look good. The next thing that I'm going to talk about is my inspiration for this island and what I started doing when I was gathering inspiration and trying to think of a loose theme. So I thought, okay, I haven't done a European island before, and I really love just Europe in general, the aesthetic, the streets aesthetic. I love the countrysides, but I didn't want to close in on one theme. So I gave myself the loose theme of Italian countryside. This way I can have a mix of some street builds and a mix of more rural areas, as well as just some fun terraforming with the rolling hills. And I've pretty much just been gathering on Pinterest any photos that are inspiring me to either recreate them, not Animal Crossing photos, but actual real life photos that I am showing you now, just some of my favorite ones that I really want to like my island to embody this feeling, this really just kind of like golden brown theme, and the like terracotta roofs and buildings and this like beautiful brown aesthetic pretty much. So I am in autumn, by the way. I'm kind of like in early autumn, but I think that the brown just work really well for this island. So that is kind of like where we're at, just for like an overall theme, something to kind of like guide me back if I'm feeling like I'm like losing ideas for the island. Just anytime I look at real life photos, I usually get some sort of idea going. So once I had that idea, I kind of had a color palette in mind. I started thinking about what items I could use in Animal Crossing. So I always go on Villager DB when I start an island because I think it's really fun to create a wish list of items that I think can work on my island. Helps me start to think about like curation of different items, as well as just kind of inspiring me in another way and thinking about what I need to stock up on at Treasure Islands or trade for. So that is always really like a vital part in, I don't know if vital is the right word, maybe crucial part in my process is creating a mood board of items to use. And it really helps me if I'm feeling like I'm using the same items over and over again. I can check that list and pick a new item, or look at Villager DB again and try to find some other items that I may not have thought to use. And with that, I always look at flowers as well, bushes, try to get an idea for the color palette of the flowers that I want to use. So after I had that sort of vibe figured out in my head, I then decided to pick out what dreamies I wanted for this island, based pretty much solely on their houses, and if I thought that they fit the theme that I was going for, if their houses just made sense with the overall aesthetic that I was hoping I would make. And I would say the real fave of this island is Renee, because her house is so freaking gorgeous. She is such a queen, and I don't tolerate any Renee slander here. So she is just the best. My first campsite villager was Henry. He's not staying because his house doesn't work. And then my two starters were Bo and Deirdre, and they just are not the right vibe for this island. I think for a regular like forest core or cottage core, they would be great, but just not for this more European vibe that I'm going for. So that's pretty much where we're at with the island, and now I want to show you guys my builds so far and just how I've been having fun playing around, talking about some of those builds and just looking at them together and seeing if the vibe is really kind of coming through. Love to hear what you guys think, so let's get right into looking at the build. So I think it's only fitting to start at the entrance here. I always start at my entrance when I start an island, so I thought that this was really fun to create this more countryside feel for the island, work with different codes, see how everything's coming together. Has a very overgrown feel, and I really like how it came out. I also put Sally's house pretty close to the entrance because I thought it looked really nice in the distance from the entrance. Did some fun waterfalls, really loving this kind of cobblestone path. And then I also did a little bridge which may eventually lead to my house over here, but I'm not 100% sure if that's staying. But just having fun with creating randomly and terraforming. I also have an incline by the entrance, which I like a lot. I always like to have an incline or a bridge by the entrance. It just, for me, I think it makes the space look really interesting. And I have this lookout area over here on this kind of mini land bridge, which looks at resident services. So that's where we're at with the entrance. This next build here was so out of my comfort zone, but I actually think it's my favorite on the island so far. I was having fun doing this sort of reverse pathing, playing with this overgrown look, but also having these more structured pathways and stalls and simple panels, which I never used to use on any islands. But I thought this coffee shop came out really cute, and and it just really embodied the vibe that I wanted for this island. The mix of the city and natural, I think, came together really nicely. After I created that build, I just wanted to make something random. I wanted to do something natural. So I created this really tiny flower shop, played with some interesting pathing, and just really created this very random area that is very wooded and feels like you just kind of might stumble upon this in a park. And I really like how this came out as well. Of course, after I did the natural, I decided to do another simple panel build. I thought using these festival parasols as little umbrellas would be really cool. I've seen my friend Isle of August or Bianca do this, and I think it just fits the European vibe so well. So does the Iron Garden furniture. So this is like a little pizzeria, and I just think it was really fun to once again try to create that same sort of street feel that I had before, but creating something different and thinking about what else I could do besides a coffee shop. So the next best thing is a pizza shop with some champagne, and that's what we have here. This is the most recent build that I've made, and it is pretty much similar to my other street builds, but this one's more of like a little seating area. You could definitely kind of imagine this in a park. We have the fortune cookie stall, which I thought kind of worked well and fits the overall color palette that I'm going for. And it just gave me a chance to play with some different items and just see what I would create. So it's pretty random, but I really like it. And I just think that this process so far has been pretty fun, and it's so different from anything I've done before, but it is really making me enjoy the game again. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I would love to know what you guys thought, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!